It is a terrifying and heartbreaking photo here. Colorado Representative Jason Crow comforting Pennsylvania Representative Susan Wild as rioters tried to get into the House. Now, Crow says he just wanted to comfort his friend. They were both on CBS this morning, where they were asked about what happens next.
Well, I think we're still processing what exactly happened, and I think as I have about 3 hours of sleep under my belt right now, and I think Susan has about the same. But as I've reflected more on it, frankly, I'm pretty angry right now. I'm angry about the traitors who stormed the Capitol.
You called this a coup on Twitter.
Yeah, that was their intent, to stop the transition of power, and I don't know what else to call it. That's what was happening. They delayed it, but they did not stop it, because our democracy and our government is stronger than these treasonous traitors. But they need to be brought to justice, and they need to be brought to justice fast.
Are you angry at the president too, Congressman Crow? Many believe he incited this. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's not a question of whether or not they believe he incited it. This isn't a question of the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus. He did incite this directly. These are his words. He did it. He is a violent man. He's an ill man. But this is not a story about Donald Trump anymore, because we have known for many, many years who he is. This should come as no surprise. This is really a story of the enablers, the members of Congress, the inner circle, the members who have allowed us to get to this point.
Are you concerned that that this happened? That this was allowed to happen in the first place? How do you feel that Capitol Police responded, and how do you feel the city police responded?
You know, that's something that still remains to be determined. We were inside the building the entire day, so we didn't have the opportunity to see what was happening, but we have since seen video and clips, and it's very concerning. As I said to Jason just before we came on the show, it's not just about the safety of members of Congress, but in the average day when we're not in a pandemic, thousands of members of the public are scattered throughout the Capitol. The idea that building can be stormed so easily and that security can be overcome and literally take over the Capitol for an extended period of time. This wasn't just a brief thing. You've seen the pictures of these people scattered throughout the building, taking pictures of themselves with, so very, very concerning for all of us.